public awareness about political issues that never existed before. And that's the only way someone like me, an outsider, was able to win the elections. My party only grew because of the free media, the vibrant media. And so, the pillars of democracy, one is free media, the other is independent justice system. Same thing happened with our judiciary. In 2007, this movement started called the lawyers' movement. And the whole idea was that we needed to have an independent justice system. So we were progressing towards a genuine democracy. And then comes this situation right now where we now have, the worst type of martial law. I mean, it's an undeclared martial law right now. Basically, there is no democracy left in Pakistan.
And what makes the current, so you said we have an undeclared martial law. Pakistan has obviously been under martial law before in the past. Would you say these are comparable situations?
Well, General Musharraf's martial law, and that was from 1999 to 2008. Now, I was his opponent. I was in the opposition. I went to jail for about 7-8 days during his martial law. But I'm telling you, that was liberal compared to what is going on right now. I mean, this is, I feel as if it's like, what people must have felt in Stalin's Soviet Union or Nazi Germany. I mean, people get picked up in the middle of the night. If they're not there, their relatives get picked up. Their houses get broken. They get robbed. The businesses are shut. And this is anyone who has anything to do with PTI. I'm not even talking about the senior leadership. And it's happening to the workers. I mean, it's never happened in our country before. Totally the media is controlled. The judiciary is under extreme pressure. And I must say some of the judges, despite the pressure, are sort of giving us whatever little relief we get. But I mean, all civil liberties have gone out of the window.
Now talk me through the events of I believe, May 9th, where you reported to the Supreme Court and you were abducted inside of the Supreme Court, correct?
Well, I was sitting within the precincts of the Islamabad High Court, and I was sitting there to get my bail, or various bails, because every day I have my going to courts is like people going to the office. So every day I have to go to one court or the other when you have over 180 cases. So I was sitting there, and suddenly, I'm sitting in the registry office, and suddenly I see these commandos. Really, they weren't even rangers, they were commandos. And I thought, first of all, because my life is at risk, according to the government, my life is at great risk. So the courts had asked them to give me protection. So I thought these guys had come to protect me, that there might be some terrorist hold up there. And then I discovered it was me who they were after. And so they really broke in, they beat up everyone. They beat up the lawyers, the staff there. They then dragged me out like I was some sort of a terrorist. And it was all illegal. And later declared by the Supreme Court of Pakistan, declared it unconstitutional and illegal, the way they abducted me. And of course, those images, when they went out, it had a reaction.
Right. And so 4 days later, you're released from jail because the abduction was deemed illegal. And you found out that during those 4 days, there had been protests, there had been violence. And what was your reaction?
Well, when I was asked by the Supreme Court, they told them to bring me to the Supreme Court. So from the prison, I went to Supreme Court. And the first time I discovered that there had been violence was when the Chief Justice asked me, that he said, "Do you condone this violence?" So I had no idea that there had been violence. I expected there would have been protests. But, when I was shot, and about 11 of our people had bullet wounds, one of the bystanders was killed. Even then there were protests, but there was no violence or there was no arson. So I was quite shocked when I was told by the Supreme Court, and I immediately, of course, condemned it. Because in my 27 years, I've always urged my party always to remain within the Constitution, our right for peaceful protest, but never violence. So as things unfolded, Jeremy, unfortunately later on, we discovered that these people were embedded within us. And the ones who indulged in arson were not PTI people. They were people who were specially embedded within our ranks, and they are the ones who indulged in violence. And since then, we've been calling for an independent investigation, but we're not getting it, because we can prove, if there was an independent investigation, we can prove that these guys were not part of our party, because our party had never believed in violence. But unfortunately, that was used as a pretext. We feel it was pre-planned, the whole thing. Within 48 hours, 10,000 of our followers were put in prison. This can't happen unless it's pre-planned. You can't just go and pick up 10,000 people. So all this was planned. Senior leadership was put in jail, and the rest just went underground. So it was used as a pretext to dismantle the party.
Now, normally these are the kind of things that would come up during a civilian trial, where they have people defending them. But I'm being told that's not what the plan is for the people charged with this. That they're actually being there's a push, at least, for them to be tried, and for you to be tried in a military court.
Yes, well, right now in the Supreme Court, I have gone, other people have gone into the Supreme Court against military courts. The case is still in the Supreme Court, but the ministers of the ruling party have actually stated that if the Supreme Court gives a verdict against military courts, the government would defy it. Just like they defied when the Supreme Court announced Punjab elections on the 14th of May, according to the Constitution, the government refused. So we don't know what will happen, but clearly, I mean, there's no room for military courts in a democracy.
One idea that I had, because I heard that 10,000 PTI workers were in jail and many others are underground, and then if they put you in jail, what's going to happen? Are they going to allow PTI to contest elections without you, or are they going to have to change the name? You got to start your own political party. And my idea was a political party called the PDKM, which is the Please Don't Kill Me Party, where anyone who leaves PTI can just switch to that party, and then that would be their way to stay safe while they're contesting elections.
Well, Jeremy, let me tell you what's going on right now. Now it's a race against time. The tenure of this government ends on the 12th of August. Now what they're trying to do is...
1 month.
Just under a month. So what they're trying to do is that they want to have me banned and put into prison before the 11th of August or 12th of August. And so I have these cases and these judges, the special appointed judges who are now hearing my cases, really speedy trials going on. And the whole idea is that I should be out of the race